overwhelming. And then also, I want to have a conversation with you or any of my friends.
A real one.
Yeah, a normal conversation where you can talk at length to somebody, and you can't do that. And it's like you're getting interrupted nonstop. Just, again, happy to... I'm still the type of guy after shows, I'll go out, say hello to everybody, talk, and... But when all my friends are around, and that's one of the great parts about the Comedy Store. And again, another part about the Comedy Store is that you have to get past. You have to be a paid regular. Yeah. Love it.
It is also, there's a bunch of hot spots there where you get stuck. Like if you're trying to do your set and you're leaving the back bar and you're trying to get to the OR and you're going through that hallway, you'll just get stuck by people with cameras. They just want to take pictures. They just wait. They're just waiting like owls, ready to swoop down and snatch a rabbit. They're just waiting. There's Al's Magical. And they're just, Al, can I get a picture? Can I get a picture, Al? And you're like, I got to do my set. And you're like, literally walk on and say, just real quick. Like walking to the stairs,
like
I've
owls.
seen it.
Yeah.
Ready to swoop down and snatch a rabbit.
But it really is.
Just
It's
waiting.
the Comedy Cellar in New York and the Comedy Store in Los Angeles are the best comedy clubs in the country. And if you're a comedy fan listening to this, and you are got to make the trip, you really do, because it's worth it. And on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, you're going to see an amazing show that could be in a stadium.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean some of the lineups. Like you guys have a show there next Wednesday, All Things Comedy. It's you, Burr, Kreischer. Who else is on?
No, I'm actually not even on it because I got to go to Mexico.
Oh.
But okay, no, it's Bert and Bill, and then a couple other ATC comics that you see. But the last one we did, you did, and then Sarah Silverman was on it.
Yeah.
And it was you, Sarah Silverman, Eddie Pepitone, like this great mix.
I think Burr was on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're insane.
Yeah, it's a great place to hang out. And so I love that, and I love doing stand-up, and I love, hanging out with my friends, and that's a huge part of it for
But
me.
you feel like you're distracting yourself with work.
I brought something. You made a great point the other night, because we were talking about having an assistant. And you go, I don't want to be busy enough to have an assistant. I don't want to be that busy. When I get to assistant level and I start thinking about assistant, you take it down.
Well, that's my manager. They came up to me and they said, we think you should get an assistant. I said, I'll definitely start doing less shit. I go, let's just stop doing whatever I'm doing too much that I need an assistant, just stop. And they're like, well, sometimes it's hard to get a hold of you. I go, well, that's on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, do you understand that?
It's like Bill Murray has a 1-800 number.
Does he?
Yeah. If you want to get a hold of Bill Murray, you get the 1-800 number, and then maybe he'll call you back.
Really?
Yep.
So people leave messages on the 1-800 number or something?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you're calling about him being in a major motion picture, that's how you get a hold of Bill Murray.
Well, Bill Murray apparently checked out of relationships a few years ago. He said, no more relationships. I don't want a girlfriend. I don't want a wife. I'm done. He has a kid, I guess. Apparently, he's got an older kid.
Yeah.
Checked out, and he moved to North Carolina or South Carolina, like one of those fucking places. And Anthony Bourdain interviewed him on his show. He had him on his show, and he's like, what are you doing down here? And he's like, I love it. It's great. The people are nice. Yeah, and he also, for a while, was living in upstate New York, like up the Hudson. He would live up there. Same sort of deal. Just I'm done. Like, I'm just going to live in weird spots and by myself.
So that's another reason why I'm working my ass off, is I want that I'm done, fuck you money, and I want to be able to chill out. I got kids on the back end of this thing where they're almost out of the house. Like, I'm looking forward to that, where they're both going to be in college.
Right.
I'm trying to get these little fuckers ready for life to the point where they don't need to come back, because you hear a lot of people are living in their homes with their parents until they're 30.
And later. What the fuck is that about?
Not acceptable. I'm going to push you out the door.
I know someone who's 36.
Not good.
Yeah, what?
Well, they're making life is too good, I guess.
Yeah, it's too easy.
Yeah, I was listening to Dr. Drew talk about this on Howard Stern wrap-up show, and he was saying, kids don't have grit.
Grit.
Kids fucking grit.
Oh, associate Dr. Drew with grit.
Well, it's just, he knows about...
Drew with grit.
Hustle, and he goes, my kids are coddled, but he thinks the only thing is the educational system. Pushing education makes somebody work their ass off. If you don't have that inner drive, and a reason, getting with me, and this was where also, I don't see a therapist. I probably should, because I got a lot of shit going on. But fucking, my mom was cleaning houses, making $6 an hour. My dad, Teamster, warehouse foreman. And they, were poor growing up, lower middle class, and then went to the school. He sent me to school in San Francisco with all these rich kids. So I was in all these rich houses, and houses in, if people know San Francisco, Pacific Heights is really nice. And it's sold. Now it's like fucking $12 million houses, and that's where we were hanging out.
Yeah.
Parents would abandon them on the weekends. And we'd have run of these fucking houses, just crazy. Like my buddy broke a $25,000 vase. We're like, let's get the fuck out of here! What the fuck are you gonna make us pay for it? And we were in all these. I was like smoking some guy's Cubans sitting in his chair. And so I'm a kid from the inner Sunset District who shouldn't be in all these places, but I think that's what lit a fire under my ass because. And I'm working for my mom. Eventually has this great rags to riches story where. She was working at this company, and then she became an account rep, and then she became the head account rep, then she became the vice president, then she bought the company and quadrupled the company in size.
Wow.
And that's where I went to work for her. Even though I wanted to be a stand-up comic, I go to work for her. I am firing people for a living, which is a whole nother fucking thing. And just I really was forced into this very tough. My dad and my mom were very fucking brutal. Half Mexican, half Sicilian. That's what I am. And then my mom, Sicilian, like just the youngest sister with all boys in the family. Just a brutal lady who's like, can't tell me how many. I tell you how many times she said like, "Fuck them, just fuck them." Like, okay, they're gonna, just a client giving her shit. Like, no, fuck them. And they don't appreciate me, fuck you. And like that. It's like, so was like that with us. And then my dad, same thing. They found each other for a reason because they both have that attitude. And so I was working there, and then I was supposed to be this eldest son taking over this family business. So when I met you in 1999, you came up to my apartment, which was in Telegraph Hill. It was a nice fucking apartment. I'm like the opener with a great place. And I had a wet bar. Remember when you came?
Yeah, you had a cool spot.
Yeah, we smoked pot and watched old Oprahs.
Old Oprahs, she had big hair.
Huge hair, no work done at all.
No.
Just old Oprah. And we were just baked watching fucking old Oprah. I had just met my wife at that point. And so, it's 1999. Ooh. And I was working a regular job. So I would do shows on the weekend, host at Cobb's or the Punchline, and go right back to work. And at one point, I remember the world started to collide. Like I'm doing stand-up, and I look out, and everybody's laughing except like three dudes with their arms crossed. I'm like, oh, shit. I fired those fucking guys. Yeah, all the time.
Dudes that you fired were sitting in the audience upset at you?
Yeah, started to make it into stand-up. Like,
did they go to see you?
No, I don't think. Nobody found me. Yeah.
Oh, wow. They must have been fucking steaming.
Yeah. Just like, fuck that guy. And everybody's laughing. I'm like having a good set, and look at just one dude fucking scowling at me. So.
How creepy was that? Did it mind fuck you?
Yeah.
Must have been fucking steaming.
Yeah. Just like, fuck that guy. And everybody's laughing. I'm like having a good set, and look at just one dude fucking scowling at me. So.
How creepy was that? Did it mind fuck you?
Yeah. No, but I had such a good attitude at that point. I was like, hey, fellas, how are you? Yeah, it's a little weird, huh?
Did you talk about it?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, I definitely acknowledged them and said hello. Like, I knew their names. But
you didn't say, like, hey, I fired you guys.
No.
That would have been hilarious.
I didn't out them talking to everybody in the entire room, which I probably would do now. So, not experienced enough to handle it.
When I met you, how long had you been doing stand-up?
A year.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
I just had my 19th anniversary was fucking on Tuesday.
Wow. That's crazy.
First Tuesday in May, did my first set. Went up in front of like half homeless people in San Francisco.
At Cobb's?
No, at this place called the Luggage Store, which was on Market Street.
Wow.
Just tenderloin, full tenderloin. Walked up.
I worked with you the first time I did the old Cobb's.
Yeah.
That place was great.
We got matched up because it was Tom Sawyer. He used to he would make matches of he would pride himself in creating lineups that people would go together.
Yeah, and let me just tell you something. It worked once with you. That's it. All the other times were a fucking disaster.
I know, because I heard about it afterwards. Like, even when I was up there, because I'd find him, like, hey, what's up? And he's like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, you were just totally fucking, he put me with this fucking asshole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He put me with some, there's some people that you think have potential and then they just don't. We met guys like that. I mean, there's a few guys that I could.
But I opened for you. It was Matty Kirsch.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
And then Eddie Bravo fucking came up.
Well, he'd come to hang.
He was doing any stand-up, but he was like totally come to hang. And then I think it was down here that I met Brian, and then Brian started going around with you super early on. That was when I moved down here in like 2004.
Ari and Duncan, but that was the new Cobbs. That was once they started moving to the new spot.
In the old one, I think it was just Matt.
Yeah, Matty Kirsch. Yeah, early days. Like, Matty Kirsch stopped doing stand-up for a long time. I think he's done. I think he just completely stopped. He started doing TV stuff. He stopped doing stand-up, then he went back to it again, but I never saw him. I think he's done.
Yeah, I don't think you can dick around with that. I was with me and my buddies were watching Tim Allen come back. Yep. And you know what I did?
What?
Like, he was such a nice guy. And like, he watched, he watched my set and came up, said a bunch of stuff afterwards. He was super cool to me, and it was so rough watching that set. This was like, he made all these Santa Claus movies, and he made Home Improvement and all this shit. And me and Kevin Christie sat in the balcony, and I said, you know what? Let's do something for this guy. And we wrote him 9 pages of jokes and fucking just I go, here you go, and handed them to him.
Really?
And he goes, thank you. Oh my God. And then we came back the next night and he did a bunch of the shit and got an applause break on one of my bits.
Wow.
And I was like, I felt so good.
That's so cool. I saw him one night at the Comedy Store when he hadn't done stand-up in forever, and he came back and he was doing a joke about his Ferrari breaking down.
Yeah, a lot of
and
stuff
I wanted to
people
pull him
can
aside
relate
and
to
go,
that.
listen, man, don't do that ever. Just don't do that. I don't care if it's about a Ferrari breaking down. Don't tell everybody you have a $250,000 car.
Well, that's a big George Carlin thing, is that when he got so wealthy and he had people going to the post office for him, he's like, I can't do the post office bit now because I don't even go to the fucking post office, and I can't talk about the bank because I never go to the bank for myself. And that's you got to do all your own shit, and you have to stay relatable. It goes the other way, too. I was in New York, and when I was out there, and a comic goes up, and he was like, he goes, you know what you do in angel dust? And I'm like, nobody knows. Nobody knows what you're doing fucking angel dust. What are you talking about?
But talk about a niche audience.
Yeah, totally. So, stand up, like Matt jumped out, and it's like, I don't think you can jump out. Like, it's one of those things where...
Well, you can, but goddamn, you'll have it. Like, Dana Gould jumped out for a long time and wrote for The Simpsons, and then came back. You can do it, but... arguably Dana Gould should have been a huge superstar as a stand-up comedian.
He was in the San Francisco guy who was like, I listened to, if you guys don't know who that comic is, I mean, again, go find it because so good, so many voices, so many characters, so smart, stories, like...
Well, I met him in Boston in '88.
Holy shit.
And he was already big then. Like, he was a headliner then. And doing really well.
He was like Rodney Dangerfield, young comedian special, big, right? Like he had
a Showtime special. I remember that. He had a Showtime special before I moved to L.A. because I remember watching it, and it was really interesting. It was like the way he did it was like kind of unique. The way he shot it was unique, and it was good. It was really good. And I was like, this guy's going to be giant. And I figured it was going to be like from there. HBO specials from there, giant theaters from there. He was going to go the Brian Regan route, where he's selling out all over these places. Sure. But it just...
He married the woman who ended up becoming the president of HBO.
That ain't good. Can't do that.
Only, I have another thing. 1 headshot per household.
Yes.
Dude, if you see like two... I think Tom Segura and Christina are the ones that can pull it off, too.
The only ones.
Yeah. I've not seen anyone else do this successfully.
And I'm still standing back like this on that one. Like, well, okay, this might blow up.
Yeah, totally.
You got this? You got it? All right.
Yeah.
I'm over here.
Well, there was a kid on The Daily Show that him and his wife auditioned for The Daily Show at the same time, and he got it and she didn't.
Oh.
Yep. Super
that must
weird.
have been a fun time in that house.
Not good. Not good at all. Like somebody starts becoming super popular, and then the other person is like, "Oh, what do I do? Do I pull a Matt Kirsch? Do I jump out now, or find other work?" Yeah. And that's also been a difficult thing with me. So back to what we were talking about. It's like, so now I leave this parents' family business, and I come to L.A. I could have been up there and miserable, fucking with, firing people nonstop and like taking on other people's problems. Because that's what I did. Is like, if you have a business or you work somewhere, we'd employ everybody working there so you didn't have to deal with any of the headaches. But then I got all the headaches, so I've been chased. Like I had a guy who was a Taiwanese. Like he was sick, this bad. He was working in a doctor's office, but on the weekends we found out he was pretending he was the doctor. So he was seeing patients and booking his own patients, but he was a physical therapist in a orthopedist office. So I go in there, and I've been doing this a while. And again, I've been in so many awkward situations. Now I'm doing stand-up, and I'm even in more awkward situations. And I just go up, and I go, "Hey, Twan, jig is up." I go, "Today's your last day. We found out what you're doing." He grabs me, puts me up against the wall. He gets one of those physical therapy sticks. The big, like the pole that you use to stretch with behind your back and stuff. And he has one of those cut in half. And he sticks it right up to my throat.
Dude, why are we all
And I'm cool. And so I go, "Twan, I go, you got two choices here. You're going to hit me with that stick.
Kill that one, huh?
And I'm going to call the cops. And I'm going to press charges, and you're going to go to jail."
Sounds
So I'm
good
gonna be
to
pissed that
me.
you hit me with that fucking stick. Or you can take the final check that's in my breast pocket right here and walk away. What's it going to be? And I'm held up against the wall by my throat with the fucking stick in my face. And so had some crazy situations. So I was.
What did you say to him? You said the jig is up. I know you're not a real doctor.
Yeah, I go, "Hey, how you doing? You shouldn't be here right now."
But what was his response?
"No, this is not true. This is, and just like you're
And
gonna
he barely spoke English.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
he's a
Jesus.
physical therapist.
Was he
guy.
banging chicks too?
I have no idea.
I would like it to be that way.
Yeah, he's just banging them. Yeah, it's a better story if
There's
he
a
is.
way to heal you. It's through your vagina.
My cock.
Use my cock.
So I had Russian nurses running from me, and just crazy stories. Like,
What were they trying to do to you?
Well, this Russian nurse was in an allergist's office, and she was giving wrong doses to the kids and stuff of shots.
Oh, Jesus.
So I had all my documentation, like these yellow pads. I go, there's, you can see right here. I'm 22 years old.
I'm
You
dying
can see
all
right
over
here
the place.
that she tries to grab it. Now it's a tug of war across a desk, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. And she takes off and runs down a hallway. And I'm 22, and I go, "Shit." I fucking run down the hallway after her, and she goes into a patient room, and then she locks the door, and then I get the door open, and I said, "Somebody unlock it," and she's in there, and she's talking to her husband on the phone. She goes, "Andrew, there is a man here who's telling me lies. He's telling me lies, Andrew. And I didn't want to tell you this, but I am pregnant, and I'm going to lose the baby because of this man." Like that, I'm going,
Oh, my God.
yeah, totally. Freaking out.
Oh, my God.
So I had to teach a bunch of Vietnamese people how to shit. There was one day I got a call. Yeah.
Wait.
I got a call from this
What was
guy.
the issue?
Well, they were Hmongs.
Okay.
Hmong is like
Yeah.
this. If you saw Gran Torino, that movie with Clint Eastwood.
I think the H is silent. I think
Yeah,
they're just called
Hmongs. Yeah, you're right. The HMOUNG is that?
Yeah.
And then there are people without a land.
Yeah.
And then they all came to San Jose, California to work in assembly plants. So they're in this cable assembly plant called Cable Co. That was a big client of ours. And I got a call from this really cool guy. His name was Chip Bronk. And he goes, "Al, you got to get down here. You're not going to fucking believe it. And I got a situation." And I go, "What is it?" And he goes, "Better you see." And I go into the bathroom, shit everywhere.
What?
Because they had never been used to toilets. So they were standing on the toilet seats. I found out that's what was going on. They all had fake names. Like, the name is Fook Lee, but you can call me Keith. And shit like that. So I was like, "Hey, Keith, Fluke Lee, can you come here for a second? Can I talk to you
where
about
was
this?"
the shit?
Everywhere.
Like on the ground?
Yeah, they were missing. Because the toilet seat is not meant to fucking hold you up. So they're waddling up there.
So they were standing on the toilet
Standing
seat.
on the toilet seats.
So they were just used to like shitting in
they're
holes?
shitting in holes.
Oh, my God.
If they're lucky, in the woods or whatever. So they're
Oh,
used,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
So
If they're lucky. If they're not lucky, what, they hold it
Yeah.
forever?
So just backed up.
It becomes a brick.
Yeah. So anyway, I gathered everybody around. I just appointed a bathroom monitor.
Oh, my God. A
checked
bathroom monitor?
So I had one of the guys who was the supervisor. I had a clipboard. I put a lock on the bathroom door. And then, so you become this corporate fixer. That's what I was doing. And I always wanted to do stand-up comedy. I love stand-up comedy. I grew up in the city with just listening to comedians on the radio and all the great comics. There was 2 comics who lived on my block, and so I love...
Who lived on your block?
Mike Pritchard and Michael Meehan, 2 great comics. Mike Pritchard won the first San Francisco comedy competition, and Robin Williams looked up to him. He was like, Robin Williams was his idol. And he was on my block. And you know Monty Hoffman?
Yeah.
Monty Hoffman, I would be 8 years old on my bike, and I would ride down the block, and Monty Hoffman and Mike Pritchard used to put their T-shirts over their heads. You know how you can do, like, just the whole, face pops out of the hole? And they used to pretend they were the California Raisin guys. I was like, these guys are hilarious. This is amazing.
They lived on your block?
On my block. And I remember...
Where's Pritchard now?
I think he's a motivational speaker still up in the Bay Area, lives in Marin. He came to the last night at Cobb's Comedy Club in that little spot.
Why, he stopped doing stand-up?
He just speaks.
Wow, weird.
Yeah. So, well, you know, that's another tempting thing for me, too, is because I do a ton of corporate stand-up. Mm-hmm. You can get paid, you know, deep 5 figures to speak at 3:30 p.m. and do stand-up at a thing. And, you know, if your stand-up career, like, you're in a good, amazing spot because people come to see you. Like, I'm still at the stage where I go out and 40% of the people there come to see me. And it's a weird cross-section of people who love stand-up or, you know, heard me on Bert's podcast or your podcast, you know, whatever. And then it's a weird cross-section of Daily Show people, and then sitcom people, and then, you know what I mean? It's like this weird crowd coming together. And then it's people who like comedy. It's that Stanhope bit.
Right.
People, how many people came here to see me? And
right.
And how many people came here to see comedy?
Yeah.
And he's like, music isn't like that. And so for me to do a corporate gig and get paid a gazillion, you know, like a lot of money, is fucking tempting to switch over to that side. So I could see why people do that.
Well, that's what Jay Leno did.
He just gets paid $250,000.
That's why he doesn't put out any content. Jay Leno doesn't
do the same act.
He has no like body of work. Like, he had a Showtime special that he did that I saw in the 90s, and I'm pretty sure, other than his Tonight Show monologues, which of course is numerous, I think that's the last stand-up that he ever put out as far as like a full act.
Talk to him about it.
Yeah, well, he's got a weird philosophy about it.
I did randomly got a phone call to present him with his Mark Twain Award at the Kennedy Center.
Oh, wow.
It was me, fucking Seinfeld, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, all like crazy people. It's, you know, Wanda Sykes, you know, and I had no business being there. Chelsea Handler was there, whatever, just like all stars. And I'd never met him before. And I think they just wanted to color it up. But I'm going to say yes because it's fucking Kennedy Center and super, super cool. And I go there and I meet him for the first time. And then my act was, it's like, what are you doing? Like, you have $250 million or something like that. And you still, every Sunday, you go to the Comedy Magic Club. You don't turn over your act. You got separate comedy money and TV money and you have this car collection. I go, what? What? Like, just chill out, man.
Yeah.
And I go, you give me the fucking $4 million, you never see me again. And he goes, sold! Like that from the balcony. And then we had a long conversation about it afterwards, which was super weird, and talked about it. And it's that exact same thing that you just discussed, is that he has an act that he wants to keep doing. And if it never appears on TV, you got to go see him to see it.
Yeah.
And so
but people get mad when they see him twice.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he was in Edmonton. He did the River Cree, and then he did it again a year later, and he did the same act. And the people there were mad.
Well, that's
just... I mean, for those old school guys, that's how you did it. I mean, it's not no knock against him. That's how everybody did it.
Catskills guys and vaudeville guys, all those guys would do the same act for 10 years. And it was also, you could do other people's acts.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. They just did. They did that. You know, there
was
no social media.
When the Abbott and Costello did Who's On First on TV, 20 other guys were pissed because they also did that exact same bit.
Really?
Yep. And they're like, thanks a lot, fellas. I could never fucking do that thing again.
So Who's on First wasn't an Abbott and Costello original?
Nope.
Whoa.
There were there are 20 other duets doing that exact same fucking material.
Wow.
Yeah. So now it's complete. So Jay Leno, of course, is carrying that sort of Trichy, you're pissed. When I started in San Francisco, there's this great guy, Jimmy Cornette, who ran the Punchline. We were talking about other people coming through and not changing their act. And he goes, dude, you need a new 20 minutes at least every time you come through here. People are going to be pissed. They want to see the hits. And that's what Bobby Slayton would say. We go see the Stones, you want to see Brown Sugar. But you got to mix in some fucking new shit every once in a while, too.
With comics, I feel like they less want to see the hits more than anything. Like with music, like they actually just want to see the hits. Like if you go to see the Stones, they don't want to hear any new Stones shit. Stop that.
Yeah, I want satisfaction.
Yeah. But if you go to see Burr, you want to see all his new stuff.
Yeah, you're familiar with this stuff.
If you saw his last Netflix special.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So,
but it keeps you creative. It keeps you fresh. You have to constantly be hustling.
Totally. Yeah, it's that's what I would say when I saw you the other night when you did that ATC show. You had that fucking no vagina bit, which is fucking good.
Thanks,
good.
man.
No, that was because again, and that's another thing. It's like you grow up in San Francisco and you become like you see guys coming through, and I went to see everybody, so I lived in between Cobb's and the Punchline, and that's where I did Outliers, 10,000 Hours.
Yeah,
I walked to the Cobb's. I did this for maybe 13 months straight, almost every single night. I walked to Cobb's. Then I'd walk to the Punchline, and I saw every single act. I saw Damon Wayans, Carlos Mencia, Scott, from the Kids in the Hall, what's his face, Scott Thompson.
Yeah.
I said, just anybody who would come through, I'd go see. I could see every single night. And I watched the good ones, and I took something from everybody. But then I started to watch people come through a second time and not change anything.
Yeah.
I started to watch features that were better than the headliner, and the feature, the conversation over in the corner, and fucking just watching it all. And I just, again, you see what people are doing and how much work people put into this. It's a tremendous amount of work, but to do the bits also, and that's another thing. Is like San Francisco, they wouldn't put hacky comics up.
Right.
They wouldn't get to play there.
Right.
Sawyer wouldn't fucking work you.
Yeah.
He just wouldn't.
For good reason.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that about him. It's one of the reasons why I was willing to go back and do his club so many times.
Yeah. So, again, that's when you come to L.A., and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
There's some of that, like what we were talking about. We don't need to name any names, but that one person who just memorizes a bunch of shit and says it fast, and then you're like, okay, what are you doing? You're ruining the night.
There's a lot of tricks.
Yeah, tricks. You're saying a bunch of pop culture references and a bunch of shit, but there's no, it's so hard to be judgmental about someone else's craft or art, but there's times when whether someone or not is actually trying to work something out or whether they're trying to trick the audience.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of stuff, you guys, that you can do to elicit laughter.
Yeah.
You can memorize a huge string. It's called, it's a string where you can just fucking rattle some
and
bunch
you get
off.
done, and then they applaud.
And, oh, my God, a big applause break. Did you hear what I did? Did I tell you what I did after? I'm fucking such an asshole sometimes. I'm sorry. I don't want to be like this, you guys. I just want to read Jack Reacher on my deck and fucking chill out. And I bought that FJ62 Land Cruiser. And I want to fucking I want to get a little trailer behind that. I want to go to Big Sur with my wife.
Just go chill out by the ocean.
Just chill out. Yeah, I want to be that guy.
But you're not.
But I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I really want to be. But anyway, I followed that one comic we're talking about. And I walked out and I go, how about it? I go, name. I go, what was that last applause break all about? Did she offer to donate some money to charity? Just for no reason. I shouldn't have done. It's just you shouldn't talk shit.
Well,
I do.
The only time you should talk shit is when someone's doing something negative, like stealing.
Yeah.
We've all been there before, where you see someone go up and you go, okay, that's not even your act.
Yeah. That happens. Yeah.
Well, less now than ever before. Don't you think? This is like the cleanest time for comedy as far as like...
You still hear little stories pop up here and there, but I think it's also now it's like subjective, and there's so much stand-up. I was talking like I have this hour special coming out this weekend on Showtime, and I was talking to somebody about it, and there's a special coming out like every fucking 2 days.
Yeah, they're not that special anymore.
They're not.
But it's a great time for content. Like if you want to see comedy, like you go on Netflix or Showtime or CISO or any of these different providers.
Dude, the CISO.
Yeah.
Fucking that Stanhope special, and I watched and to mention this, I go, the Doug Stanhope special on CISO, if you have not seen this, I feel like is one of the best things I've ever seen. And I walked in to the comedy club and I saw Punchline for the very first time. And I saw Arj Barker on stage kill. He's a great comic. He's just fucking murdered. And I had the same feeling that when I watched that Doug Stanhope special.
Oh.
I
haven't seen it. I need to see it.
Oh, my God. The bits again. And it's like next level shit that I hope people can really appreciate the callbacks and the intricacies of this whole thing and the story and somebody who's working on something and saying something. It's like...
Well, Doug did 2 of them in his hometown. Right?
Yeah, Bisbee.
He did them both in Bisbee, right?
Yeah, this is one that was shot in Bisbee by Hennigan. You know,
yeah. I just love the fact that he's doing that. Like, we talked about it a couple of years ago. It's, I can't work in my town. I got to fucking see these people at the Safeway.
Yeah.
And then apparently he just said, fuck it. Why not? Why can't I do it in my town? And then eventually his town stopped being the town it was, and there's a bunch of people who moved there because they know Doug lives there.
What?
Oh, dude. First of all, he's a real estate mogul. Every house that comes up, they're all like $30,000. He just buys
it.
He's just buying houses. So he owns I think he owns 6 or 7 houses in town.
This is
not
turning
bullshitting.
into a Jack Reacher novel where he's going to own the town.
He's owning the town. Fuck, dude. If I got divorced, I'd seriously consider moving there. There's already a house I'm looking at. It's a cave.
No way. House in a cave?
It's built into a cave.
Oh, yeah.
Right now I can't buy it because people know. They show up at my door. Dude, let's do DMT. Let me in your cave. But so many people moved to he used to give out his address and say, come to my Super Bowl party. So people would come from all over the world to his fucking Super Bowl party. And it was ridiculous. It'd be 500 people that he didn't know at his house for his Super Bowl party.
Crazy.
So he stopped doing that. He rescinded that invitation.
That's what me and Bert were talking about, is doing a thing called a caravan comedy tour. And getting a bunch of RVs or trucks and trailers and just going, a bunch of guys. Because also it's like, it's a special kind of comic. And you're one of those comics. It's like, you have kids, you have a family, you have a life, you have stuff outside of stand-up. You know, it's like, to get those guys together. And Bert is one of those, you know, where it's like you have a couple kids and like get the kids and the wives. It takes a lot to be a comedian wife.
Right.
And they all have that in common. So I'm sure everyone will get along great because they have to deal with fucking us. And so the wives and the kids, everybody in RV, and then we all go out and do shows. And then everybody gets to go to the Grand Canyon the next day.
That's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea.
I'm in. Let's do it.
I think Duncan, we talked about Duncan.
He doesn't have any kids.
I know, but
he's got a dog.
It'll still be fun on the road. They're looking at RVs.
On the road.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, man. So, I always wanted an excuse to buy one of those Airstreams.
Totally.
I just think they look badass. Well, I pull it behind your FJ62.
Oh my god. Yep. Don't think I haven't been. I got business cards. I'm looking at. There's a place called Off the Grid Rentals, and just to test out. But it's too small. It's like this teardrop. It's a 4x4 teardrop, and you could put a rooftop tent on top, and it has a ladder that goes up.
Yeah.
And then I could just have everybody. I'm thinking I want a little bit more. So
a real one.
Well, I've been going to, the difference is Sportsmobile. If you go to sportsmobile.com, which is fucking, they've been doing it for a long time. But you can get one of those Dodge Sprinter vans, a diesel, like tricked out.
Oh.
Yeah, and get that 4x4'd out and just go, and then you could still tow some stuff.
Well, there's this company called, what is the company called? There's an expedition vehicle that they take, and they take like a Ford F-250, and then they put this thing on top of the roof, like above the front cab. It goes up and then back.
No,
and
exactly
the whole
what you're
thing.
talking about. Yeah.
It's got solar power and a generator, and you can live in those fucking things.
It's all like the rock. There's the rock climber guys who like live
Look
in
at that
vans.
fucking thing. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, I'm in love.
Isn't
Look
that
at the
awesome?
rooftop tent.
Yeah.
And a giant. Well, they do that too. They take vans, and there's a company called U-Joint Off-Road. They take a van like that, they remove the natural suspension or the suspension that comes with it, and put a full-on dual solid axle 4-wheel drive suspension setup in it, and you could just drive that motherfucker over the moon.
Go to sportsmobile.com and take a look at this now, because this is what they used to do, and they're still doing with some of these. The vans will do this with Chevy vans.
That
will
looks
do this
amazing.
With Fords. But if you look at what they're doing with the Mercedes and the Dodge Sprinter, that's when it just goes up to a whole other level.
Downsized.
Okay.
Their sights down?
Oh, yeah, but you can see some of them. Yeah, look at it. Just fucking Jesus.
Yeah, I like.
Yep.
I like. I have those same ideas.
Yeah,
but I do go on these trips for
You
hunting
do.
where I go out, I'm in the woods 5-6 days at a time, and most of the time there's no cell phone service.
I just did Bourdain with the crew that you guys shot with in Montana.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what'd you do?
I did his no reservations.
Yeah. Well, it's called...
what is it called now? Parts Unknown?
Parts Unknown. Yeah. Where'd you go? What'd you do
We
with
just
it?
it was Mexican food down on Oliveira Street.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, we went bird hunting in Montana. It was fun. It was interesting. That guy still goes hard.
Yep.
Hard. Like, wham, throwing him back. We got so high, I thought I could feel the earth spinning.
Well, he had just come from... He was super late. I got drunk. If you watch this Parts Unknown, I'm fucking wasted. Because I really am. People are like, why is El Madrigal's eyes closed? Yeah, kind of super drunk. He was 4 hours late, and I just went to bars with that crew while we were waiting for him because he got a tattoo. And then he showed up super late, and then we ate taquitos. And by the time he got there, I was just trashed. I'm the biggest lightweight of all time. It really is true. I did a show with you at the Comedy Magic Club. We walked around the corner and got baked with Red Band. And then I went back in, and I had to apologize to your audience. I go, I'm so high. You guys don't understand. I've been so busy, I haven't been able to get baked like I used to, and it just fucking snuck up on me. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
We can sneak up on you easy today.
Yeah, and like people are productive. Like Doug Benson is a productive motherfucker. He gets a lot done. I can't speak.
I'll just leave that there.
All right.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, some people are much more comfortable, like Joey. Joey Diaz is constantly in that state.
I saw him. I don't know if it was who sent me a picture of it. If it was somebody showed me something that he was in. One of those big gummy bears.
Oh, dude,
that has 3,000.
Yeah, 3,000 milligrams.
Milligrams of THC in that thing, and he'd like chomp the head off.
Yeah, he does that all the time. He stopped doing that though. By the way, Joey stopped. He backed off the edibles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
see that's all I
panic
do.
attacks.
Oh yeah. I can't. I have such. I've been waking. I just went to the doctor. I had a little bit of a health scare, and this is 2 days ago, because I've been waking up in the middle of the night out of breath. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, you probably have sleep apnea.
That, or I got a sleep study that's being done, and then they're saying I have anxiety.
We definitely have anxiety.
Yeah, a lot of it.
You ever thought about doing like yoga or anything?
I try to go to the gym. I go to the gym like every morning, but I don't. Like I need to meditate, and people have talked to me about transcendental meditation and stuff like that. That I need to settle the fuck down.
Yeah, but you know that you have this thing, and you're not doing anything.
I'm not doing anything about it, and the doctor said that this is good, that now you're finally being compelled to talk about it with somebody, that this is a problem, and you feel like you're angry at yourself for being so anxious. Because if I go to the airport with my wife and kids, I can feel it. I feel
the anxiety?
I feel myself freaking the fuck out.
Wow. What do you freak? Like, what's the thought? What are you worried about?
Just we got to get through, and everybody's slowing us down, and fucking.
I go early.
I know. That's
I'm
what I started doing.
traveler.
That's why I'm like trying to prepare myself for this.
So huge. Just leave an hour earlier than you need to, and you don't
I give
worry
myself
about
plenty
shit.
of time. And I still look at my wife, and I'm like, and the last couple of times, I'm like, doing pretty good. I'm working on it.
That's weird. It seems like maybe you were set up for this from like your early career, like this like tension.
Yeah.
You know, and then the desire for success, like to be a successful comic, is a lot of hustling, and there's a lot of like, you got to fucking you got to be on your point. You got to be on your game. You got to
Can't fuck around.
Can't
Need
fuck
to
around. Go.
And now with ATC, again, I feel so much responsibility for all these comics. Like, so we have 50 podcasts. We have comedians.
Trim that thing down for sure.
I tried. That's another thing where you got to make
Cut
some
it down.
tough calls. I did.
20% at least, right?
Everybody is like, okay, here's a perfect fucking example. Like, Ian Edwards has a podcast called Soccer Comic. Yeah. I love Ian Edwards to death, right? Mm-hmm. He's on that network. I don't care if 4 people listen to that fucking show. He's on that network. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
And so I don't care about the numbers as much as I believe in the comics. Like, there's 2 comedians, Michael Costa and Chris Fairbanks, that I want to start making TV. Like, they're not on TV.
Right. Costa's a funny dude,
Costa's a funny motherfucker. And I have a great story with Costa. So, this is how we met. Me and Bill. Burr first comes to Comedy Store, sees me, we become friendly, then sees me on stage. I did some bit about how my wife's half Korean, half Greek. And I go, I have this Korean mother-in-law, and I don't do any jokes about her because then I'd be doing Margaret Cho's act in Who Wants That? That's fucking just shithead. That's so fucking. That's so fucking. He loves it, and like, that's fucking hilarious. And that's a good burn. Yeah. And so we go. Now I'm at the point in LA, you guys. Like, I'm doing spots. I'm not doing anything else, and so I'm working on these TV shows as much as I can. But when I'm not, I'm at the Comedy Store, 2 sets. Then I go to the Laugh Factory. Then I go to the Improv. I'm doing that triangle, and I'm hitting them all. And I hit the Ice House. Like, I'm going everywhere. I'm a guy who's doing like 12 sets a week, and this is from 2004 until I get the Daily Show. Pretty much, like, this is a good solid 6 or 7 years of just fucking going. And then I go to the Improv, and Bill again knew. I go, let's go to the Improv. Let's fucking go down there. And so he jumps in my car. We drive down the Improv. It's a show that they're doing where they show a sketch comedy video, and then they bring up a stand-up, and then they show a sketch comedy video and a stand-up, and Mike Costa's the host. So I go up in between these sets, and I look at them, and I go, hey, do you know if they're going to show another video, or are they going to bring me up? And then he responds, I forget what he says, but then he goes up on stage, and he goes, okay, this next comedian is, I guess it's Al Madrigal. If you want me to pronounce your name right, you got to come introduce yourself to me before the set. I can't be expected to. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, and I'm on the side losing it. And I go, fuck you. And he goes, what? And I go, you heard me. Fuck. This is a room full of, it's Asian night or something. Like, there's all these Chinese people there. And so I go, everybody turns. And I go, you heard me. Fuck you. I go, do your job. I introduced myself to you. Like, just get the fuck off stage. Like, yeah. And I go, what the because he's like, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. Who are you? I go, dude, you're the fucking host. Figure it out.
Right.
Asshole. So I walk up and I proceed to just lay into him. Just fucking 15 minutes are about, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. I go, you're the host. It's all, you have one fucking job to do. Bill's hunched over laughing on the side. Fucking all the comics in the back are just, there's tables in the back are on the floor. And I go, it's fucking Asian night. This is the worst crowd I've ever fucking seen. They're just going crazy. And I can't help it. Again, if anyone's listening, like, this guy's an asshole, I don't want to do that.
Right.
It just came out.
It's compelled.
Uncontrollable fucking burst of fucking telling people to fuck off. Yeah. Asshole.
Yeah.
Cuntiness. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And I could have gone, I'm right here.
Right.
Sorry about that.
Right. Madrigal.
No,
My name's
Madrigal. No problem.
Right.
Just bring me out. Yeah.
But that puts you in a bad position. You go up there like sort of...
like they can't...
Submitting.
Yeah, so Willie Barcena had those stories about like headbutting somebody in the hallway because they brought up Charles Fleischer instead of him. You know, like
Well, Willie's crazy.
Well, yeah. That's a whole nother thing. Like, I think I told that story last time I was on this podcast where I told him to fuck off. And he's an East LA street fighter. So it doesn't matter. I'm like, when I see red, I fucking start telling everybody, fuck you.
Right.
So anyway, me and Mike Costa, very good friends. To this day, I came up. I mean, I see the error in my ways right away, and I go, apologize. I go, dude, I'm so sorry. Yeah. I can't control it. I'm sorry. I say crazy shit to people. And so, again.
Well, you and I have never had a weirdness.
No,
we never had a weird moment.
Cool. This happens with very few people, but when it does.
When you feel slighted, that's
yes.
what it is.
Yeah.
I've never slighted you. Like
Zero. And if, no, you haven't.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I want to just fucking sit on.
Yeah,
a chair.
I know that feeling though. There's a feeling, especially like the anxiety before you're performing. You're ready to go, and then you feel like someone's fucking with you, and you're like, oh, okay. I've had that happen before, where a host will purposely say some dicky things about you, thinking they're gonna chop down your set. I've done the same thing. I just go after them, 100%.
Totally.
Yeah.
Brendan Schaub told me a story. It's like to people. Because, he's a big guy, and
he's new to stand-up.
He's new to stand-up, and somebody went up on stage at the Improv, and he said, who the fuck is that guy? Like, you can't be that handsome, and fucking, like, started just tearing into him, like, for being, like,
this is being a fighter, too.
Yeah, this is not for you.
Yeah. Well, it was Eric Griffin.
Was it?
Yeah. He was just fucking around.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like, that's what you say.
Yes.
The guy goes up, and he does stand-up, and he's got this perfect haircut. And you're like, hey, fuck you. Eric goes up with his spare tire around his waist, and, he's a big, jolly guy.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out of here with this.
Fatty with glasses and a mustache. I have the same thing.
He's got a great mustache, though.
He looks like he puts on the glasses and mustache together in one piece.
He does.
It's like, yeah.
But when he was doing that, I was trying to tell Brendan, I go, dude, that's what we do. I go, you got to understand that. Like, you go up, you do your set, the guy's going to shit on you. You know what I mean? That's like... I would have shit on you too, probably.
Especially in New York, same thing.
Oh,
fucking
more.
In New York,
way more.
If you don't do 2 or 3 minutes of what's going on in the room and what just happened, you're going to have a shitty set. Like, that's what I learned right away. You had to be like, a star to fucking hold everyone's attention and just start launching into material. To comment on what's happening.
Well, you know what that is from? I noticed that too when I lived in New York. I was like, it's because the crowds are small and the stage is small. It's a way more intimate experience. It's like the belly room. The belly room is a totally different experience than the OR, which is a totally different experience than the main room. It's one of the beautiful things about doing the hat trick at the Comedy Store. If you do all 3 rooms in a night, you get to feel the different, like, the belly room is so much more intimate and so much more intense because there's only 70 people in the room. And they're jammed in there, and they're right in front of you. And that's like a New York room.
So I'm doing that show on Showtime about stand-up comedy. I'm Dying Up Here.
Yeah.
You get to meet that guy in the back that's helping me, he's making that show. And we were talking about the belly room and interviewing people about that just to figure it out. And that used to be, it was called the belly room because it was for women. And then, like a pregnant woman, like
a womb. I think that's like Mitzi literally thought of it as a comedy womb.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they used to put overflow. So if Richard Pryor or somebody huge was in the main room, they put all the overflow up in the belly room. And then a comic would be on stage, and they'd come in. If like a table opened up, they'd go mid-act. Thompson, party of 4. Like you're doing stand-up on stage, a waitress would come in and go, "Are the Thompsons here?" And then the Thompsons are sitting in the front, and they just get up and walk out.
And go to see Richard Pryor in the main room.
Totally.
Wow.
So that place, and then I work on that with Eric Griffin. So I didn't really know him that well before, and hilarious. Just fucking fucks with people nonstop. So of course he was the guy that said that shit.
But he's a great dude.
He's a nice guy.
He's not doing it because he's an asshole. He's just being silly, and that's what I was trying to tell Brendan. He's like, "You went at me hard, bro," and I'm like, "That's what we do." Like Brendan's new to this whole world, because he started out doing podcasts. He's a funny guy, and then he started doing these live podcasts with Callan, and they would do sort of like a little sketch routine, like a comedy routine, and then he would do a few minutes on his own, just doing like kind of stand-up, like telling his story. And he's funny. He says he has some funny ideas. So now he's doing sets, like on a regular basis. And then he's doing sets in front of people who don't know him, which is the right way to do it.
Totally.
One of the bad things that people do is they only do their own crowd over and over and over again. Not smart.
You got to go out and do those shows that I was saying, like, when you start doing stand-up comedy, you invite all your friends out, and it takes you 3 sets to figure out, oh, shit, I better stop inviting my friends out.
Yeah.
I gotta just do it.
Well, not only that, but if you invite your friends out and they're a significant part of the audience, they've already seen your jokes.
Yeah, exactly. It goes bad right away. And you're like, oh, I want to make strangers laugh. I want to make complete strangers laugh.
Yeah.
And if I can do that, it just makes you a better comic. I got a bunch of shit, and we were talking about this, but I got a bunch of shit for fucking heckling Steve-O.
Did you heckle him in the audience?
At the Improv, I was on stage. I told a story. I said, I don't want to be this guy. I really don't. You don't understand. It is a problem, and I'm going to go to a cognitive behavioral. That's what the doctor prescribed me. Is a cognitive behavioral specialist that's going to stop me from doing shit like this.
Really?
Yeah. But I said, I don't feel that bad about this. I said, he was in the audience, and I said, all right, I go, I don't want to care about stand-up this much. I really don't. I'm so passionate about this. You guys don't fucking understand. Like, I was like, so-and-so stole this joke and stole that joke. And I go, I just got to come to grips with the fact that what I feel like is my life's calling is somebody else's last resort. And then, because I talk about, like, Dustin Diamond does stand-up. I go, fucking, Skippy from Family Times does stand-up. Like, and then...
People don't even know what that is anymore.
I know.
Does he still do it?
Skippy?
Yeah.
I think so. Dustin Diamond was in jail.
He stabbed somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Skippy was doing stand-up.
He was like an 80s
when
comic.
Family Ties sort of ended, he was doing stand-up when I was an open micer. I was just starting out, and he was headlining these places, and that's, he had this big smile, Skippy from Family Ties, and he just would go on the road. But I never heard from him again.
Yeah, I wonder what that guy's doing. There's got to, at some point, the audience just goes away, and then people stop booking you, and then you have to go away, I guess.
What do you do?
I don't know.
Job?
I guess hopefully you invested your money properly, and then you bought some real estate. Skippy, Skippy's just a real estate baron. You know who talks me down, and Callan has talked me down a couple times. He's like, no, just relax. He's a nice guy. Don't worry about it.
Callan's a calm guy.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, it is your life calling, and for some people it isn't. Some people it's like something that came along after they had been doing a bunch of other stuff. But that's okay.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares? There's an audience for everybody.
But there's like a lot of people will say, like, that guy's not really a comic. Like, if you're doing stand-up, you're a comic. And although most of them don't ever become comics you respect, it's not like it's outside the realm of possibility. If you could do it or I could do it, how come they can't do it?
Somebody said this about Carrot Top. Like, that fucker carried around, say what you will, but that fucker carried around that bag for a long fucking time.
Not only that, he monopolized that genre. That was a legit genre when we started out.
Yep.
You remember, like, there were prop comics.
I mean, buddies with Rusty Dooley. Remember, like, Rusty Dooley's fucking...
Rusty Dooley was a prop comic.
Yeah.
But there's no prop comics anymore. There's fucking Carrot Top. He killed the genre.
Wow.
Dude, when I first started in '88, you would have a prop comic on every other show. 3 or 4 shows. You do 3 or 4 shows. One of those shows would have a prop comic on it. Now they don't exist anymore.
So I really feel like in this I'm Dying Up Here, we did a good job of bringing all that stuff back. And this is set in 1973, but we got ventriloquist. I can't wait for you to see this show.
Another thing, there's no more ventriloquist. Nope. Who killed that?
Probably, Jeff Dunham.
Yes, that's who it was.
He owns it.
He owns it.
And then you saw Otto and George,
right?
I
worked with Otto.
Many
times. We did prom shows together in New York.
Oh my God! Tell people if people don't know what Otto and George is, maybe you can explain since you worked with them, because I only saw him.
The puppet would say the most vicious, vile, racist shit, and then he would go, "I can't believe you're saying that,"
and he'd go, "Cunt! Hey, look at this fucking lady! He's a cunt! Hey, cunt! Hey, cunt!"
Yeah. Oh, it was
just walk an entire room.
He would say ruthless shit. He was a great guy too.
Dead.
Yeah, he died.
And Sawyer had him in that small room, and we watched tourist after tourist walk away. And Tom Sawyer looked at me and the rest of the comics, who again are just hunched over on the floor, and he goes, "I'm losing money this weekend, guys, but this is for us."
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and
his act was ridiculous. We did Jersey Shore shows for this guy Bob Gonzo. We did. I did a lot of shows with Otto.
He'd go looking for whores and crack.
Oh, he would go off. Yeah, he would get crazy. He would get crazy.
Yeah, but they're saying, so we have a ventriloquist in the show. We've got it's like the petty fights. Like, I get to write on it, so I get to incorporate all my fucking weirdness in there. And it's like petty bullshit, bad intro, fuck you.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, you guys also got 1970s wardrobe and hair, which is fucking badass. I saw some photos of it.
My daughter walked up to me and on set didn't say anything about my hair. I'm rocking the biggest mustache for you. I'll post a picture. I'm just rocking the biggest.
I think it's online.
Oh, yeah.
Jamie could probably find it.
Huge real mustache, big sideburns, and that are mine, and then this wig. My daughter walks up and she goes, why are you wearing a towel? It's a terry cloth shirt.
The towel's the thing that bothered her.
Why is your shirt made out of a towel? I don't understand. This is like kids growing up. How are your kids with growing up with, like, do they know stand-up comic dad? Like, that's...
They're figuring it out, yeah.
I brought my... living in New York, practicing for a Comedy Central special that I don't think one person saw. And I go...
Was it an hour or half?
Hour.
When did you do it?
I did in 2014, 2013.
So something they gave you once you started doing the Daily Show?
Daily Show special came out, and it's
how many times
Why is
they
the
air
Rabbit
it?
Crying? Just
Twice.
Fucking midnight on a Friday.
Those motherfuckers.
Yep.
You burn a special with them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a problem.
So, well, you know what? And then they're like, but you can catch it online at ComedyCentral.com.
Nobody can.
Nobody's going there.
No one is going there.
It's not happening.
You know what I wanted them to do? And I really
Sell
want
it to Netflix.
Sell them to Netflix, or have a billboard. Really have a campaign that says Dave Attell, Jim Gaffigan, Joe Rogan, like all these names of just every comic that you love and watch, all available here, $2.
Right.
Like, you know what, or something like just...
But they're not going to do that because no one's going to do it. They're not. You have to have something on a platform that people already use.
Sell them all to CISO.
You have Amazon, you have Netflix, and you know, like Apple. That's it.
Yeah.
No one else is going anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's too easy to do those things.
So anyway, I just burned that special. Anyway, so I'm practicing for that. I go up to Rochester, New York, bring my wife and kids with me. We stay in a Holiday Inn and Suites. And this is a 6-year-old little girl, goes over to the curtains, opens them up, and she goes, why am I looking at the parking lot? And I go, everybody gather around. This is the road. Okay?
Yeah, that's what I do.
This is what Daddy does. When you think I'm having a great time, or they're flying
depressing.
around, it really gets sad. We're going to fight a businessman for a waffle tomorrow morning. So everybody shut up.
Those Rochester road gigs are rough. Like those spots where people don't necessarily want to go. Albany, Rochester. Oof.
Yeah, it was a bar. It was attached to a country western bar called Daisy Dukes.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, look that up. It's fucking brutal.
There was a place in Youngstown, Ohio that I did that was attached to a disco, and there was a back door. And every time the back door would open up, like when people would go to the bathroom and hear... and the door would slowly close.
Okay, so...
It was rough.
I did this place, Laughs, in Kirkland,
Washington?
and I go there, and I'm doing this. Again, if you watch these are like longer stories, tangents, characters, shit like that. For the most part, like my closer is 25 minutes long.
Jesus.
In this special, it starts with this.
This is the 2014 special.
This is the one I'm doing right now that comes
the
out.
one
this
that comes
weekend.
out this weekend. 20 minutes long.
Yeah. So it's this big, long fucking bit that I've been working on forever about revenge and my anger and like fucking... I did seafood revenge. I shrimped the place. That's why it's called Shrimpin' and Easy.
Okay.
So I'm a fucking just mess. And, well, I forgot. I just got off track. I forgot what I was fucking talking about.
The road, open up the parking lot, fighting someone over a waffle, Kirkland, Washington.
Kirkland. So I'm at Kirkland, and I'm in the middle of a big, long story, and they bring out these trays that have neon lights around them with Jell-O shots on them. And everybody in the entire audience looks at these trays. They look like UFOs. They got Jell-O shots on them. And I go, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to interrupt this crafted bit that took me 5 years to master to bring you Jell-O shots. Who wants a Jell-O shot? Let's everybody do Jell-O shots, ladies and gentlemen. Jell-O shot time. And I just started fucking selling the shit out of Jell-O shots as a bit because I'm like, this guy fucked up like this. I need everyone concentrating.
Who was bringing out the Jello shots?
The owner and the waitresses are bringing out these trays.
Did they tell you they were going to do this?
Just UFO trays of Jello shots.
And this is at a comedy club?
At a comedy club, lose every single person in the audience.
This is a standard thing they do?
I guess so. I just went with it. And
is
I
it like what they do at
it.
the end of the night to like to wrap up? Look, there's just a big push at the end of the night. We're going to get some extra dollars in our coffers.
I can't believe it was happening. I was shocked at the time. And then the owner comes up like I was serious, and he goes, "Holy shit." He goes, "We sold out of Jello shots. You were amazing. That was unbelievable."
God.
And then I walk in the next night.
He's got more Jello shots.
I mean, the kitchen is filled with them.
Oh, my God.
And those Jello shots come out, and I don't say a thing. It's like fucking serious.
Hey, I thought we were in business for selling Jello shots together.
Yeah.
We had a good thing going on. I don't know if you know this.
He goes, you didn't mention the Jello shots. What are you doing? I go, yeah. I don't know if you can tell. I really hate the fucking Jello shots. Like I go, it's horrible. You should not be selling them. I don't know. It's a huge distraction.
What did he say?
And it was just to teach you a lesson.
Whoa.
Like it's fine.
Did he sell any Jello shots?
No.
When you weren't pushing them?
Nope.
No.
Zero.
None.
And so he just had a huge he had.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You should probably explain that to him.
Yeah.
On the first night, and then he would have got it. But he probably still would have sold them anyway.
Yeah.
Fuck
That was
you, I
his
made
thing.
money. Fuck you, I made money.
And he was a nice guy, and it was a nice, it was just, it. I don't know, man. Like, I can't, it's hard for me to do. And, again, if you have people coming out that know you, and you're going out to see something, and you, collectively, you're a group of people that love an individual comic, it's a great place to be. But, again, if you're up there winning over 60% of the audience, ugh.
It's not good.
I'd rather just go hang out at the store.
Well, it's good to do the road, though, because, you can... I think, every time you do a set in a new place, you get a new experience, a new vibe, a new feel, new crowds, I think places also have, a different personality. I feel like Portland, Oregon has a different personality than a lot of places. You go up to Portland, it feels different. The audience feels different. And then you go to Austin, Texas, different feeling.
Yeah.
A little lighter there. A little lighter, a little more fun. A little more silly.
I like doing shows in Canada.
I do too.
In Toronto, one of the best
yeah.
sets I've ever had in my entire fucking life. Toronto, Vancouver is fun for me to go to. Canadians are just great audiences. I don't know what it is. They're just, it's loose. They're fucking not uptight about it.
20% less douchebags.
Really?
Yeah, that's my theory about Canada. They have 20% less douchebags than us.
It must be what it is.
There's always douchebags.
Fun. Yeah.
But they have 20% less.
Shut down the stream for a little bit. I'm going to come back and play Prey in about 15, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Great
grab
spot.
some breakfast.
Awesome spot. And
you go right to your hotel. It's in the hotel. You go down,
perfect. Yep.
down to the bottom floor, walk right in.